Welcome. Message from the streets. Today's topic, interesting topic. It's that time of year. The celebration of Christ's Mass, also known as Christmas. Some people call it Xmas, but it's the holiday that is a substitute for the terminology Holy Day in the teachings. Now, first and foremost, I don't have anything against anybody and how they are practicing. Yet, I do have an issue with the continuous promoting of falsehood, deception, and lies based around certain days. And Christ's Mass is one of those days. First, let's start off at the beginning. A lot of times they say, oh, it's Jesus' birthday. No logical historian or person that's done any studying will say that it's so. It's not the Christ. It's not Jesus. It's not the Christ birthday, Earth Day. None of that. We're dealing with the celestial cycles. The winter solstice. That's what we're dealing with. Now, my thing is that I used to be really adamant against, all the holidays. But one of my girlfriends, she told me one time about Mother's Day, because I ain't celebrate Mother's Day. She said, and I told her that it was, it was Nimrod, Sumerius, and things of that nature that's being acknowledged. And she told me, she said, yeah, I don't know what they doing, but I'm honoring my mother. And I couldn't say nothing, because the teachers teach us to honor our mothers and our fathers. And ever since then, I looked at, people ways of celebrating it different. I wasn't, I can't be no Pharisee or something of that nature on the jump. But the thing about Christmas, what is so distasteful and dishonest about it, they're still promoting it as Christ's birthday. They're not saying we are celebrating Christ. They're not telling the children that it's not Christ's birthday. This is the day that we set aside that we are going to acknowledge the Christ, the Christos, Emmanuel, Hamashiach, Yahshua, Jesus, etc. They actually had people believing. Right now in the day, you can take a survey and people will tell you that December 25th is Jesus the Christ's birthday. Straight up sleep. And I use the word sleep on purpose because the administration that's at hand, they don't like people to be woke. They don't like people to be conscious. They don't like people to be aware. They identify people like that as those woke people. If you're not woke, you sleep. That's just the logic of what's going on. And they don't care if you woke, as long as you're walking around like a zombie and believing all the propaganda and the European Caucasian white nationalist narrative. That's cool. But when you start digging up some stuff and coming with the facts and with the receipts, they start to call you a troublemaker, or start to say that, that's those woke people, those conscious people. That's cool. But moving forward, my whole thing about this is that be truthful to the kids. Don't tell the kids that no individual, may he be so-called black, white, Hispanic, or anything, flying across the sky with some reindeers and they're going to get these presents. No, you're telling them that we, your parents, people that love you, we bring you these presents, and it's an acknowledgement of this time of year. This has nothing to do with the person that you see in the department store. That is a character that ain't gonna never give you nothing and never will give you nothing. May give you a candy cane or something, but those toys and those gifts and those bikes and those clothes that you get for the celebration of the Christ Mass, that's coming from hard-earned money. And that's why you can't get the PlayStation 5 or the latest Xbox or the latest phone or whatever, because your parents got to pay for it. See, we got to start telling kids the truth. When I was growing up, they used to hide a lot of stuff from kids. Where Uncle such and such at? Oh, he in school. Nah, that joker was in jail. See what I'm saying? And maybe they was telling us that people was in jail and they had issues. They was on alcohol and drugs and stuff that we may have looked at life differently. I'm not talking about the kids that came up, that was products of the 90s and the 2000s and the late 80s and stuff. They knew, But now we still putting kids to sleep. We enchanting them. And then we using the premises of God is okay with it. Man, y'all need to just stop lying and tell the truth, and so we can move forward. Get off of this stuck traditionalism, because this is all this is. This is traditionalism for a commercialization situation for corporate America to go into the new year with a surge of finances. You ain't getting nothing but some trash and some junk there that you ain't gonna be using in the next few months. All that stuff you buy for the kids, yeah, if you get a ring or a car or something, you gonna use that. But for the most part, a lot of that stuff is just gonna be recycled garbage. And you don't spend all your money, couldn't sleep, worried about getting this person, that present. Now, don't even sweat that joke, man. It ain't even that serious. Be mature in your mind and tell your children the truth. And keep it moving. Forget what America is saying. America is a devilish institution, and we see it every day. That's another topic. I bring this message in love. I leave you this message in peace. Do your homework and tell your children the truth. All the time. Always. Don't let them be disappointed in you because you done kept up a tradition of some people that don't even care nothing about you. Oneness.